Shalom. I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Bashmi Ashai, the bonus to the apostles of GMS rule well, and Shalom to the elect. Now, I was kind of having a bit of a trouble here. My phone never used to do this. The particular app that I use to screen record, for some strange reason, it's not working. So it's gonna have to go off. I can't show the video because it won't allow you to hear or see the actual video or hear it. So I just have to read the article without showing you the video. But this is an article from the New York Times, and it reads, "Credit card signatures are about to become extinct in the U.S." For nearly a decade, Doug Taylor, a sales manager who travels often for work, has signed credit card receipts with a doodle of a dog wagging its tail. No cashier has ever rejected his signature as invalid. "It gets a laugh most of the time," said Mr. Taylor, 44, who lives in Mobile, Alabama, "or they just glance at it and don't really notice." Credit card networks are finally ready to concede what has been obvious to shoppers and merchants for years. Signatures are not a useful way to prove someone's identity. Later this month, four of the largest networks, American Express, Discover, MasterCard, and Visa, will stop requiring them to complete card transactions. The signature is a centuries-old way of verifying identity is rapidly going extinct. Personal checks are anachronism. Pen and ink letters are scarce. When credit card signatures disappear, handwritten authentications will be regulated to a few special circumstances. Sealing a giant transaction like a house purchase or getting a celebrity to autograph a piece of memorabilia, and even that is being supplanted by the cell phone selfies. Card signatures won't vanish overnight. The change is optional, leaving retailers to decide whether they want to stop collecting signatures. Target plans to eliminate them this month. Walmart considers signatures worthless and has already stopped recording them on most transactions, according to Randy Horogrove, a company spokesman. It will soon get rid of them completely. MasterCard said it has been wanting to make the change for years, but held off until cards embedded with computer chips become common. Card companies, which cover the cost of fraudulent credit card spending, started adding the microchips more than a decade ago to reduce fraud-related losses. The chip creates unique codes for each transaction, making the cards much harder to copy. The chips have long been popular in Europe and in Asia, but only took off in the United States 3 years ago, when the card networks began punishing merchants that still relied on the old card swipe technology. At that point, signatures become largely irrelevant in resolving fraud claims. "The signature has really outrun its useful life," said Linda Kirkpatrick, MasterCard's head of business development in the United States. "It took nearly a century for technology to overtake the hand-scrolled name. The charge card dates back to the 1920s when the stores started issuing embossed metal plates with paper signature strips that allowed customers to add purchases to their ledger and settle the bill later. 30 years later, banks and merchant networks introduced cards that worked at a variety of retailers. By the late 1950s, a shopper could leave home without any cash and buy groceries, gas, and dinner, secured only by a signature. Investigators scrutinized signed credit slips to determine whether cardholders were present when transactions were made. Signatures were required on all purchases. Merchants that failed to collect them generally had to absorb the losses. If transactions were disputed, Slake. All right. So let me just start over. Investigators scrutinized signed credit slips to determine whether cardholders were present when transactions were made. Signatures were required on all purchases. Merchants that failed to collect them generally had to absorb the losses if transactions were disputed. Retailers could also be held liable if they failed to notice that the signature on a receipt did not match the one on the back of the customer's card. I'm going to pause here and continue on.